What happens when a multi-platinum, Grammy Award-winning pop icon, built on an empire of body positivity and performative relatability, completely sheds her core identity, only to find herself facing empty venues, viral public relations crises, and an entire tour cancellation? In the highly competitive ecosystem of global pop music, a physical transformation or a stylistic shift can either elevate an artist into an aspirational cultural figure or completely alienate the core demographic that funded their initial success. When a brand built entirely on being anti-cool tries to suddenly manufacture cool, the institutional friction that follows can cost millions of dollars and permanently alter a public legacy. Tonight, we are conducting a meticulous, analytical, legal, and marketing breakdown of the shifting public persona of Meghan Trainor, her recent live tour complications, and the delicate corporate tightrope of contemporary pop music rebranding. Welcome back to Vibe Viral News, your premium destination for objective, deeply researched celebrity journalism, institutional media analysis, and verified entertainment updates. If you appreciate professional reporting that prioritizes documented facts and industrial realities over empty tabloid sensationalism, please take a brief second right now to hit that like button, subscribe to Vibe Viral News, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into the entertainment industry. By subscribing to Vibe Viral News, you directly support balanced, fact-based commentary that respects legal boundaries while giving you the real, unvarnished story behind global media developments and pop culture icons. Our analysis tonight focuses on the significant online commentary and industry reports surrounding Meghan Trainor's current professional pivot. Media observers and music industry analysts have recently highlighted a stark contrast between Trainor's early commercial era and her current visual and sonic output. Across major digital platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and X, numerous pop culture commentators have pointed out that Trainor's latest imagery, music videos, and choreographed routines bear a striking resemblance to other prominent figures in the pop landscape, most notably Sabrina Carpenter, Paris Hilton, and Tate McRae. What was once a highly distinct, localized brand has increasingly faced scrutiny for appearing unoriginal, sparking a broader conversation regarding artistic identity and public relations management. To fully understand the structural gravity of Trainor's current position, it is necessary to examine the historical foundation of her commercial brand, which analysts refer to as Meghan 1.0. Entering the music industry as an independent teenage prodigy, Trainor initially released 3 albums autonomously before signing with a major label. Her breakout commercial single, certified diamond by the RIIAA, launched her into global superstardom and secured her a Grammy Award for Best New Artist. At a time when the pop music landscape was strictly divided between the untouchable, highly stylized cool girls and the melancholy, introspective indie figures, Trainor carved out an entirely unoccupied corporate lane. Her aesthetic was overtly theatrical, bright, nostalgic, and deliberately anti-cool, aligning perfectly with the burgeoning global body positivity movement. By presenting herself as an authentic, everyday goals girl who rejected conventional industry beauty standards, Trainor built an exceptionally lucrative, multi-million-dollar consumer relationship based entirely on radical relatability. However, brand management experts frequently warn that building an entire commercial empire on a rigid, absolute message of non-conformity creates a dangerous legal and corporate vulnerability. While an artist can successfully navigate a cultural movement for a period, maintaining that exact message over a decade becomes mathematically and socially unsustainable as the individual grows and changes. Over time, the localized freshness of Trainor's early retro pop style began to show signs of stagnation, with certain media critics and consumers recategorizing her music as overly simplistic commercial pop, tailored more for corporate retail spaces than contemporary youth culture. In response to this shifting market demand, Trainor initiated a comprehensive rebranding strategy, transitioning into what analysts categorize as Meghan 2.0. This corporate pivot involves significant alterations to her physical appearance, including standard cosmetic updates, and a noticeable shift in her lyrical content. Where her early music openly proclaimed a defiance against traditional sizing standards, her updated discography began celebrating conventional glamour, high-fashion styling, and standard pop music tropes. While every individual possesses an absolute legal and personal right to undergo body modification, stylistic updates, and medical procedures without facing public malice, the corporate consequence of this specific transformation shattered the foundational premise of her original consumer appeal. This brings us to the primary marketing misstep defining her current era: the structural breakdown of performative relatability without the simultaneous construction of an aspirational brand. When an artist markets conventional beauty standards as the fundamental adversary of their brand for over a decade, accumulating a massive following of consumers who feel validated by that specific stance, a sudden and total embrace of those very same standards can be perceived by the consumer base as a direct contradiction. Trainor's updated persona, which features high-contrast visual imagery, standardized social media trends, and stylized choreography, effectively removed the relatable foundation that made her a household name. Crucially, because her brand was never structured as an aspirational, highly stylized fantasy like those of her contemporary peers, the loss of her relatability left her consumer base structurally confused. When corporate marketing fails to clearly define who an artist's target audience is, the commercial infrastructure inevitably begins to experience instability. This confusion manifested directly in the commercial performance of her latest live performance venture. Industry reports confirm that Trainor's management team officially finalized the total cancellation of her highly anticipated multi-city live concert tour, which originally featured over 30 scheduled dates. While the official public relations statements issued by her representatives attributed the cancellation to localized family reasons and a corporate prioritization of maternal obligations, industry data and ticketing platform metrics painted a vastly different economic picture. Independent media observers who monitored the ticket distribution maps prior to the official announcement documented exceptionally low consumer demand across multiple major metropolitan venues. In the contemporary entertainment economy, where inflation and ticket pricing structures place a heavy financial burden on the average consumer, audiences are increasingly selective about the live experiences they fund. Public relations analysts note that attempting to use traditional family narratives to obscure a documented lack of commercial ticket sales can frequently backfire, reinforcing a public perception of corporate fear regarding public judgment and commercial metrics. This leads directly into the second major operational error observed during this rebranding cycle: the direct copying of prevailing digital trends. In an anxious attempt to capture the highly coveted Generation Z demographic, Trainor's visual assets, hairstyling, and music video aesthetics began heavily mirroring the precise creative blueprints of artists who currently dominate the streaming algorithms. Pop culture commentators widely published side-by-side comparisons demonstrating how closely Trainor's updated look emulated the distinct doll-like aesthetic popularized by Sabrina Carpenter and the high-energy dance styling of Tate McRae. From a strict branding perspective, attempting to replicate an active competitor's unique value proposition is highly inefficient. A consumer will rarely expend financial capital to view a simulated version of an aesthetic that is already being executed authentically by its original creator. Furthermore, the reliance on highly choreographed social media routines engineered specifically to trigger viral short-form video trends can often alienate the remaining legacy audience, appearing forced rather than creatively organic. When a veteran artist's output begins to feel desperate for youth validation, the consumer demographic they are trying to attract tends to distance themselves entirely. The third critical structural vulnerability in Trainor's current trajectory is institutional brand confusion. In the classic doctrine of corporate marketing, if a brand confuses its consumer base, it inevitably loses its market share. Between the years of 2014 and 2016, Trainor represented retro-themed body positivity tailored toward teenagers and young millennials. By 2022 and 2023, she successfully pivoted into a highly lucrative space as a relatable millennial mother, author, and family-oriented public figure, capturing a massive audience of suburban parents. Then, a sudden shift occurred, introducing a highly sexualized, trend-chasing pop persona that completely conflicted with her immediately preceding corporate identity. This rapid oscillation between highly disparate market positions leaves the consumer base completely detached, unsure of what values, lifestyle, or artistic vision they are actually supporting. Despite the severity of these combined public relations and commercial setbacks, historical data within the entertainment industry proves that a total brand collapse is rarely permanent if the proper corrective protocols are implemented. To execute a successful institutional recovery, a branding SOS, Trainor's advisory team must first identify and isolate her unique value proposition. Attempting to force a narrative of standard social media relatability is no longer a viable corporate strategy. Instead, her team must evaluate what specific artistic assets Trainor possesses that cannot be easily replicated by her contemporary pop competitors. The most significant, underutilized asset in Trainor's entire corporate portfolio is her verified history as a highly proficient, versatile professional songwriter. Long before she ever stepped into the global spotlight as an on-screen performer, Trainor operated as a deeply respected industry writer, securing publishing deals in highly competitive markets like Nashville and composing hits across entirely different musical genres, including country music for legacy groups like Rascal Flatts. Her historical ability to construct mathematically precise, commercially viable pop hooks with extraordinary speed remains her true competitive advantage. By shifting her public narrative away from standardized internet trends and refocusing entirely on her technical mastery of musical composition and studio production, her brand can reclaim a high level of professional prestige and institutional respect. This has been a comprehensive, legally secure broadcast from Viral News. If you found this rigorous pop culture breakdown insightful and appreciate journalism that prioritizes factual clarity over emotional tabloid narratives, please remember to support our independent platform by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing your analytical perspectives in the comment section below. Your active engagement directly sustains our commitment to high-standard, balanced reporting and ensures we can continue providing deeply researched industry commentary. Stay informed, stay analytical, and we will see you in our next professional broadcast here on Viral News.